I'm Varuna. I'm a pediatrician, and I'm new to this forum. I'm a pediatrician, and I work with children with diabetes, and I run the specialty of pediatric endocrinology at AIIMS Jodhpur. When I moved to Jodhpur, when I started working at AIIMS Jodhpur, because of my training in pediatric endocrinology, I thought I'll be able to help out children with type 1 diabetes. But once I started seeing patients there, I realized I'd moved there from Delhi. So I realized there were very large number of children with type 1 diabetes, and almost everybody was mismanaged. Everybody was on basal bolus. Some were just getting one dose of regular insulin per day. And that is how my journey with type 1 diabetes children at AIIMS Jodhpur began. So you can see that we've discussed these numbers today, during the day. So we have more than 3 lakh children with type 1 diabetes in India as per the IDF Atlas. And the life expectancy of a child who has type 1 diabetes in India is way lower than that what would be in any Western country. So you can see the blue colored countries are the ones which have a poor life expectancy. If a child that is diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at 10 years of age versus the red ones where the life expectancy is way higher. So why should this be? And over years, we have seen that many health indices have improved in the country, which include the neonatal mortality rate, the infant mortality rate, the life expectancy. So many statistics have improved. Has anybody even thought about this statistic, that why these children don't really get the kind of care that they could get in a Western country? So there were many challenges that we faced. Delayed diagnosis. We all know type 1 diabetes gets diagnosed as malaria, pneumonia. During COVID, it was diagnosed as COVID also. Because there is a lack of awareness of the diagnosis of type 1 diabetes in children, even in qualified doctors, and even pediatricians do miss it. We've seen patients who are having decay and going to coma, and the neurologist just doing lumbar punctures in those children. So it is not uncommon for people, even including healthcare workers and health professionals, to be not aware of the diagnosis of type 1 diabetes, and we see more than 50% of the children are finally in decay before they get a diagnosis, and unfortunately, that really increases their chances of mortality. So there is a definite gap in the healthcare infrastructure. Pediatric endocrinologists are a very uncommon entity, especially in smaller cities. You'd hardly come across a pediatric endocrinologist. Though things are improving, the children with diabetes hardly reach the adult endocrinologists, and most of the time they don't have that much time to spend with each patient to discuss the daily routine of the child. When do you go to school? When do you come back? Can you take insulin in school? So definitely there is a big gap in the healthcare infrastructure. There are psychosocial and educational barriers. The moment a child is diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, the parents are concerned, how will the child go to school? Should we tell everyone in school or not? We don't want to tell anybody in school. So there are a lot of psychosocial barriers, and of course, the cost of treatment keeps on increasing as you move towards more advanced treatment. So if you go to basal bolus, it is more expensive than probably premixed insulin. If you go to, I want a CGM, it is more expensive. You want a closed loop system, it is more expensive. So there are a lot of challenges, and we have to actually, for a child, we have to deal with the entire ecosystem when we talk of type 1 diabetes. The ecosystem for the child is his family, his school, his friends, the playground where he is playing, and the child himself or herself or the doctor cannot really change all this. So there a lot depends on policymakers to change the ecosystem for these children, and most of them are not aware. Like Ramchandani sir pointed out, like Mr. Om Birla was not aware that this is a problem. So many times the policymakers are not even aware that this is a problem. So to change the entire ecosystem is going to be quite challenging, but we are moving closer. It is not that it is nothing is happening. So many good things are happening. We all heard about the work which is being done. So how do we start changing this ecosystem? So the most important thing is education. But whom to educate and what do we teach them? So do we go top to bottom or we go bottom up approach? So it's not that we can go only on one direction. We have to move bi-directionally, and different levels of, we need different kind of education is required. But like as a pediatrician, one index that we see is neonatal mortality rate. So how has neonatal mortality rate come down? Is it by creating more neonatologists? No. It is by simpler programs, which is by early diagnosis. It is by simple training modules like IMNCI, Integrated Management of Neonatal and Childhood Illnesses. So, peripheral health worker, ASHA workers, Anganwadi workers, PHC level health workers, even district hospital doctors, they are specifically trained. So, we identify these are the more common problems, simple solutions to them, and when these children should be referred. With this simple approach, many health indices have been improving in the country, but somehow type 1 diabetes is not on a priority list for most policymakers. We see that even medical graduates, they lack sufficient exposure to non-communicable diseases. So what we are teaching in MBBS is only tuberculosis, malaria, pneumonia. So they think that everything is infectious disease. So the moment a child is breathing fast, before thinking of decay, we think that it is pneumonia, think that whether this child is wheezing or not. So there is a need to improve the education of the medical graduates. We all know that super specialists are very limited in number, especially smaller towns, villages. It's very difficult to get a super specialist to see a child with diabetes and then spend an hour or so with a child, counseling them how to adjust the routine. So definitely more training is required, and only super specialists cannot build up this gap. We need dedicated diabetes educators, healthcare workers, even teachers can be taught to identify symptoms of diabetes. So if there should be a regular monitoring of growth in children. If the teacher notices there's something wrong with the child, suddenly a child has become very lethargic, started losing weight. So the general approach of the teacher is to think that the child is probably not interested. But if they know that these are simple symptoms, they can work as healthcare educators for an entire village. So, and of course, the patient empowerment is very important. So, the patient also doesn't know how to manage my diabetes. So, what to do when the sugar is high, what to do when the sugar is low, what to do when I am not going to eat, what to do when I am going to play. So, the patient also needs to be educated well. And of course, we need to work on the various myths and fallacies that are around. So, it's neither top to bottom nor bottom up approach. We have to, move laterally in all the different levels to improve. So everything is not very bleak. This example of Mission Madhuhari, which is going on in Rajasthan, has been highlighted multiple times. So we've trained more than 174 doctors for management of type 1 diabetes. And when we were training them, these are all qualified doctors. They're either MD medicine or MD pediatrics doctors who were coming to us. And we realized that when we said, don't give Mixtard, give basal bolus insulin, it was almost like a surprise for all of them. So it was all the first person to convince is actually the doctor. The patient can only reach the doctor. Beyond that, if the doctor is also not aware of what to give, there is not be of much help. So we've trained these doctors, and now Ranvi showed that in all the districts we have type 1 diabetes clinics which are active, and it is being enforced that only basal bolus insulin is being given through these and not Big Start. Each of the sessions, the doctors, it required a lot of convincing. They said, then why is Mixed Start available? But it will be 4 injections instead of 2. So the first barrier for us was to convince the MD medicine and MD pediatrics doctors who were actually employed by the state government to deal with this. And then this a program by Indian Society of Pediatric and Adolescent Endocrinology known as IDEAL, where we are educating diabetes educators, and also there is an ideal version for doctors. So doctors who are MD pediatrics or MD medicine are also working to learn how to manage type 1 diabetes better. School environment is being improved. So CBSE has come out with guidelines on how children with type 1 diabetes can be helped during exam, and also announced sugar board. So parents often complain कि स्कूल से टॉफी खा के आ जाता है, किसी का न किसी का बर्थडे तो मनता ही रहता है स्कूल में. So these idea of sugar boards has been introduced. Economic support, insulin cost is definitely come down when the patients are purchasing it through schemes like Bharatiya Janaushadhi Pariyojana, and of course we are getting it free in Rajasthan and other states also. I was quite surprised that I saw this news article. This is 2023. It says now diabetic kids can carry insulin glucometer inside the classroom. Imagine this is news. So just imagine what is happening prior to this. So the National Council for Protection of Child Rights has written to states that they should introduce concessions, and it is the responsibility of the school to provide care and facilities for children with type 1 diabetes at school. But the ground level situation is not that rosy. There is also need to do more research on type 1 diabetes. So while somebody is looking for a final cure, in our setup, even implementation research of how things can be made better, how HbA1cs can be brought down, how children can be really helped in school is required. So there is a long way to go, which includes essential diabetes care, diabetes friendly schools, diabetic friendly homes, diabetes friendly playgrounds, and no diabetes related discrimination. So we are far from what we want to reach, but and there is a long way ahead, but we are getting there slowly, steadily. So hopefully things will get better. Thank you.